I broke off my engagement with my fiancée after she wanted to take a break to study her new boyfriend. I sold our house and disappeared. Then she begged me to come back. I never thought I'd be the kind of guy who ghosted his whole life. Sold the house, deleted every trace of myself online, and vanished. But here I am, writing this in a small rented cabin in a mountain town nobody's ever heard of, trying to put into words what the hell happened. We were happy once. I mean, really happy. Her name was Marissa. She was funny, warm, brilliant in that kind of low-key way that doesn't demand attention but steals it anyway. We met through mutual friends during a ski trip and hit it off the first night playing board games and drinking cheap boxed wine. I was 32. She was 29. It felt like we'd found our rhythm early. Same life goals, same taste in music, both obsessed with Thai food and road trips with no destination. We dated for 2 years before I proposed. Simple, nothing dramatic. Just us, sunset on the beach, a little handwritten letter I read out loud before I asked. She cried, said yes, and we celebrated with fish tacos and too much wine. I thought I'd found my forever person. We bought a small house together in a quiet neighborhood and started planning a spring wedding. For a while, life was golden. We were that couple other couples envied. But you know how sometimes everything looks good on the outside, but inside there's this slow-growing rot you can't see until it's too late? It started with little things. She got distant, not cold, but distracted. She'd laugh at my jokes, but not like she used to. Our date nights became routine. Her phone, once left face up on the counter without a care, was suddenly always in her hand or face down. I chalked it up to stress. She'd just gotten promoted at work, managing a new team. Long hours, office politics. I tried to be understanding. But something was off and I felt it in my bones. The kind of quiet dread you don't want to name because once you say it out loud, it becomes real. Then came the conversation. It was a Thursday night. I just made dinner, salmon with lemon butter and roasted potatoes, one of her favorites. She barely touched it. Halfway through the meal, she put her fork down and looked at me like she was about to tell me someone died. I think we should take a break, she said. I blinked. A break from what? From us? She replied, voice quiet but steady. I just need some space, time to think. My stomach dropped. To think about what? She hesitated, eyes darting to the window. There's someone I met. His name's Jake. We've only gone out a couple times. It's nothing serious, but I need to see where it goes. I swear to God, the world went mute. All I could hear was my own heartbeat. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because my brain short-circuited. You want a break from your fiancé to date some other guy? I'm not saying it like that. I don't want to have any regrets later. I need to know if what we have is what I really want. Jake's he's different. Different. That word hit harder than it should have. Like I was some version of a product she'd been trying out, and now there was a new model to test. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I didn't even ask her to reconsider. I just got up, walked to the bedroom, and sat on the bed staring at our half-packed wedding decorations in the closet. I'd made her a custom wooden sign that said, "The future Mrs. Collins." It was still wrapped in brown paper, unopened. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay awake, wondering how you go from planning a life with someone to being a test subject in their emotional experiment. The next morning, I left for work but never went. I sat in my car for 3 hours, watching the sun rise and thinking about everything I'd given her, everything we'd built, and how easily she was willing to gamble it all for someone new. By Sunday, I made my decision. I wasn't going to be her fallback. Not now. Not ever. I woke up Monday with one thought: burn it down. Not literally, of course. But everything, the wedding, the house, the future we'd built in late-night talks and Pinterest boards, I wanted it all erased. Marissa thought I was just going to sit around and wait. She really believed that. That she could explore this new guy and then come back once she figured out I was the better option. Like I was some safe little backup plan. Plan B, stability she could return to once the excitement wore off. Nah. The first thing I did was call my buddy Connor. He's a real estate agent, chill guy, always good with a secret. I told him I needed to sell fast and quiet. Like yesterday I said. He didn't ask questions. Just gave me a list of cash buyers who didn't mind a slightly lived-in house with a half-dug fire pit in the backyard. Next, I took a week off work. Told them I had a family emergency. Packed what I needed: clothes, tools, my guitar, a few photos of my late brother, and my dog Max, a golden retriever who never once made me question his loyalty. Everything else? Left it. I wiped the rest of my digital footprint. Deleted our joint wedding email account, blocked her number, nuked my socials. I left a single sticky note on the kitchen counter. You wanted a break. You got it. Good luck figuring it out. She came home to an empty house. No fiancé. No furniture. No future. The house sold within 3 weeks. I priced it low to move fast. Took the loss. Didn't care. Just wanted it done. I transferred the money into a new account she didn't know existed, then hit the road with Max in the passenger seat. I drove across 4 states. Slept in motels, cheap Airbnbs, even in the back of my SUV a few nights. Somewhere in northern Idaho, I found a little town that felt like a forgotten postcard: pine trees, fog in the mornings, a diner that remembered your name by day 2. I rented a cabin from a guy named Rick who only took cash and didn't give a shit why I was there. Perfect. I worked remotely, kept my head down. Grew a beard. Hiked. Started journaling. Max chased squirrels and made friends with the neighbor's husky. For the first time in years, my life felt like it belonged to me again. And then 2 months later, the emails started. At first, just one. Subject line: can we talk? I deleted it. Then another: I miss you. Please. Then the texts came. Somehow she found my new number. I never gave it to her. Probably through a mutual friend. Or maybe she stalked my cousin's Facebook. Who knows? I made a mistake. He wasn't who I thought he was. You're the only one who ever really loved me. The audacity. The absolute nerve. I didn't reply. Not once. But every message stirred up something in me, not love, not even sadness, just disbelief. That after throwing everything away, she had the gall to try to come crawling back like nothing happened. Then came the voicemail. I didn't want to listen to it. But I did. Maybe I wanted closure. Maybe I wanted to hear her say it out loud. Her voice cracked halfway through. I thought I needed to explore. I thought maybe I was missing out. But it turns out I was just stupid. Jake wasn't what I imagined. He ghosted me after 6 weeks. Said I had too much baggage. And now I'm here, alone in this empty house, and I'd give anything to have you back. She was crying by the end. And for a second, just a second, I felt sorry for her. But that second passed. She made her choice. She rolled the dice. And I made mine. It wasn't just one voicemail. It was dozens. Some tearful. Some angry. A few were manipulative as hell, like she was trying out different scripts to see which one would get a response. I was confused. I wasn't cheating, I just needed clarity. I never stopped loving you. I was afraid of settling down too soon, don't you understand that? This is your ego talking. You're being cold. You're not even giving me a chance to explain. Is that who you really are? Each message chipped away at my peace a little more. And I hated that. I hated how even after everything, she still had this hold, not on my heart, not anymore, but on my head. She lived there like a ghost, pacing the halls of all the what-ifs. A part of me wanted to scream at her. To say, you don't get to miss me after turning me into a plan B. You don't get to crack the glass and then cry because it's broken. But another part of me? The part that still remembered how she looked when she used to fall asleep on my chest? That part just sat there in silence, watching her texts roll in and wondering how it all went so wrong. Then she sent pictures. Of the house. Our house. Well, my old house. Empty rooms. The flower bed I planted half dug up, weeds choking the tulips. The wedding binder still on the shelf. A shot of her curled up on the living room floor, wrapped in a blanket, eyes red, like she was trying to capture her heartbreak in 1080p. And then came the letter. Typed, printed, mailed to my P.O. box. That meant she hired someone or stalked enough people to find it. The letter was 3 pages long. A full emotional spiral, memories, regrets, promises of therapy, grand apologies. She said Jake was a lesson, not a partner. Said I was the only one who really saw her. She called me her safe place. That pissed me off more than anything else. Not because I wasn't, but because she turned her safe place into an emotional storage unit she could leave behind and come back to whenever she was ready. Then she hit me with the nuclear option. Can we please just meet once? One dinner. One coffee. You don't even have to say anything. Just let me see you. I didn't reply. But I thought about it. Hard. For days. Because when someone you've loved, deeply loved, begs for a second chance, it doesn't matter how logical you are. Your brain makes space for doubt. What if I'm overreacting? What if this is one of those rough patches people work through? What if, deep down, I'm still broken too? And that scared the shit out of me. Because that's how they get you. Not with cruelty. With nostalgia. I started rereading her messages, not to feel them but to dissect them. And something shifted. I saw the patterns. The selfishness. The way she kept using her pain as the center of the story. Not once did she ask how I was doing. Not once did she acknowledge the betrayal for what it was, a choice she made with both eyes open. And that's when I knew I wasn't her safe place. I was her safety net. And I was done being that. I blocked the number. Changed my P.O. box. Set up a new email and forwarded everything else to a dead end. I wrote one final message. I never sent it, but it helped me put the weight down. It just said, "You wanted to try life without me. You don't get to undo that. I'm not your comfort blanket. I'm a person and you made me feel disposable. I won't be part of your redemption arc." After I blocked her for the final time, there was this eerie silence. No more texts, no missed calls, no mutual friends accidentally checking in. Nothing. And you'd think that would bring me peace, and it did for the most part, but silence after chaos? It's its own kind of haunting. I'd go days feeling good, like genuinely okay. I'd wake up, take Max for a long hike, sip coffee on the porch, breathe fresh pine air, and think, yeah, I'm healing. But then something stupid, like a song we used to dance to, or a recipe she taught me, would knock the wind out of me. And just like that, I'd be back in that damn kitchen, reading her breakup speech while the salmon went cold on the table. Grief doesn't move in a straight line. It's more like a drunk guy stumbling through a maze, bumping into old memories, falling into what could have been holes, and throwing punches at ghosts. Still, I held the line. I didn't respond. Not even when she started using other people to get to me. Her sister messaged me on Instagram. Said Marissa was in a dark place, that she was really struggling, and that maybe I should just talk to her just once. I didn't reply. I wanted to scream at her. Do you know what she did? Do you know she dropped me like a bad habit to go play emotional roulette with some guy she barely knew? But I didn't say anything. I just deleted the message and kept scrolling. A few weeks later, her best friend, someone I actually liked, emailed me. She said she wasn't picking sides, but Marissa's been crying every night and she talks about you constantly and she never meant to hurt you. And I believe that. I do believe she didn't mean to hurt me. But she still did. And intentions don't erase consequences. It's funny how people only want to talk about someone's pain when it finally hits them. Nobody came to me when I was sitting alone in that cabin, wondering if I'd ever trust someone again. Nobody sent her a message when I couldn't sleep for weeks, when I had panic attacks looking at old photos, or when I held the wedding ring in my hand and wondered how I missed all the signs. You know what nobody talks about? The rage that comes after the sadness. That full-body heat that simmers under your skin when you realize she expected me to wait. To sit quietly while she tested the waters. Like I was a backup plan in case the new guy didn't pan out. Jake, by the way? He dipped. Lasted less than 2 months. Ghosted her right after she told him she was still emotionally tied to someone else. Of course she was. That someone else was me. I was the anchor she wanted to cut loose and reel back in at her convenience. She tried showing up once. I don't know how she found me, maybe a friend slipped, maybe she hired someone, hell, maybe she just guessed. But one afternoon I came back from a supply run and found her car parked near the edge of the road. She was sitting on a rock, hugging her knees like some kind of sad movie character. She stood up when she saw me. "I just want to talk," she said. I didn't even slow down. I walked past her. Said nothing. She called after me. "You said you loved me." And I stopped just for a second. Then I said, without turning around, I did. But love isn't a revolving door. Then I walked into my cabin, shut the door, and locked it. She stayed out there for maybe 15 minutes. Then she left. I haven't seen her since. You know that moment when the dust finally settles? When you wake up one morning and it hits you, you're not checking your phone anymore. You're not dreaming about them. You're not playing out fake conversations in the shower, trying to win an argument that already ended months ago. That moment happened on a Tuesday. I remember it because I woke up to Max licking my face, tail thumping against the bed frame like a drum roll, and for the first time in a long time. I didn't feel hollow. No more weight in my chest. No more invisible pressure behind my eyes. Just quiet. The peace I used to beg for in the middle of heartbreak? It was here. I got up, made breakfast, walked the trail behind the cabin, and somewhere between the birdsong and the crunch of gravel under my boots, I realized I was okay. Maybe not fully healed, that word feels too final, but better. Alive in a way I hadn't been for months. The thing is, rebuilding doesn't come in some big Hollywood-style montage. It's not about revenge glow-ups or dating someone hotter or posting cryptic "I'm thriving" quotes on Instagram. It's brushing your teeth without crying. It's deleting her contact without shaking. It's laughing at a stupid meme and realizing you didn't think about her first. You know what helped the most? Owning my own story. Not as some tragic victim of betrayal, but as a guy who learned the hard way that love, real love, is supposed to feel safe and chosen. Not convenient. Not conditional. Looking back, I can't believe I almost waited for her. That I even entertained the idea of giving her another shot. But when you're in it, when you've poured years into someone, you cling to the potential, not the reality. You see the person they could have been, not the one who broke your heart and expected a round of applause for realizing it too late. I started journaling. Not the emo kind, just honest thoughts. I wrote down all the things I missed about her and then wrote what those things actually meant. Like, I miss her laugh. She laughed because she knew how to charm, not because we were deeply connected. I miss waking up next to her. What I really miss is feeling chosen. Seen. Not the person. Little by little, I stopped romanticizing her. Started romanticizing me. Started picturing the man who wouldn't be a backup plan. The man who walks away when disrespected. The man who builds a life so full, people don't become the center of it, they become part of it if they deserve to be. One night, I was at the town bar, the only one, really, and I got to talking with this girl named Harper. Nothing intense. Just two people trading jokes over cheap beers and bar nachos. She had these wild curls and a sharp wit, and when she talked, I didn't think about Marissa once. That's when I knew. I wasn't healed for someone else. I was just healed. Harper and I have hung out a few times since. No labels, no pressure. Just two people with dogs and some scars and a love for road trips. She knows my story. I told her everything one night by the fire. Her response? Damn. I hope you wrote that down. I smiled. I did, I said. Still writing it, actually. If I had one last conversation with her, with Marissa, I think I'd keep it short. Not out of anger. Not because I don't have 1,000 things I could say. But because there's power in brevity. In saying only what needs to be said and nothing more. I'd look her in the eyes, calm, steady, maybe even a little sad, and I'd say, you broke something I was never going to give to anyone else. And you didn't even break it clean, you shattered it and walked away barefoot, hoping I'd be the one to bleed for it. That would be it. No dramatics. No raised voices. No dragging up memories and asking why. I already know why. Because people like her don't want love, they want options. And I was one. But I'm not bitter anymore. I promise you, I'm not. I've sat with the pain, turned it over in my hands like a sharp rock, bled a little, then set it down. That's what healing really is. Not forgetting. Releasing. And I did. I released her. The wedding ring? I tossed it off a cliff near the cabin, symbolic, sure, maybe a little dramatic. But it felt damn good. Like that last scene in a movie when the character lets go of the thing that's been anchoring them to grief. I watched it disappear into the trees, took a deep breath, and whispered to no one, thank you for leaving. Because if she hadn't, I might still be there, trapped in a life where I wasn't fully chosen, where love came with a pending expiration date, where my worth depended on whether someone else was done playing games. So now, I'm building a new kind of life.